Today we're going to dive into the Canon T6. It's a great starter camera, but then you can also change out your lenses. So as you spend more money on your lenses or on your glass, you can upgrade as you go. So this camera is good for photos and probably not so good for sports because the shutter it's not that quick, it's not that fast. Your autofocus is a little bit slow compared to some of the other cameras we have in the studio. It's very slow, but this is a great beginner camera. Okay, so let's talk about this camera. It's an 18 megapixel camera, has 9 autofocus points. It's got a 3-inch fixed type of screen, so this screen does not flip out or anything like that. It's just straightforward. That's it. Okay, you can shoot video up to 30 frames a second. I think 720p at 60 frames a second on this one as well. So 1080p 30, 720p 60. That's the max. It does not have external audio. You can't plug a microphone into this. There's no headphone jack on this, so you basically get the audio straight out of the camera, which is this little itty bitty microphone right here. What does that mean? Well, this camera is probably in our studio, it's a good B camera. So if we've got a main camera like a Sony that we're plugging into our audio, and we've got nice clean audio, then I might set this one up as a secondary camera if all I need is video, because you can match the colors and things like that. Now, this camera does not have a custom white balance. I say that, it says it does, but it's not a true custom white balance. It's like, say, some of the other cameras like we have, like the Sony a7 II or any of those, where you can actually adjust the kelvins. You cannot do that. The way the custom white balance works on this camera is that you take a picture of, say, a white wall or a white sheet of paper, something white. You fill the lens with white, and you take a picture of that. Then, and you switch over to video mode, you go to custom white balance, and you choose that photo on your SD card, and it sets your white balance to that. It's not as intuitive as, say, some of the other more advanced cameras, but it kind of makes a lot of things more basic, which is decent. You know, you've got a very few options here on your screen. But if you're looking for something that's like, hey, I just need to grab a quick shot, grab this camera, go point, shoot, click, done. You do have some options in here for your different manual photo modes and preset photo modes, just like every other camera, and video as well. So this does have interchangeable lenses. You can push the button on the left side of this lens and turn it to the right like that, and the lens comes off. You can see this is a crop sensor camera. It's a very small sensor. And then to put it back on, we're going to align the white box here with the white box there. Just kind of put that like that, and then snap it in like so. So you just line up the white to the white, turn it to the left. If I've got my back to the back of the camera, just turn it this way, okay? And then you'll hear it click, and that's when you go in. So you've got interchangeable lenses. We do have a few different lenses, like a 24-70 that we could put on here. We have a 35 millimeter, I believe, we can put on here for an ultra wide shot. So we've got a couple different options, for the Canons in our studio. Not too many, not as many as, say, what we have for the Sonys, but we have some options in our studio for this little guy here. So with that, let's jump in and take a look now at the menu system and the couple buttons and dials on this camera so we can get to know it and know how to use it when we pick it up in class. All right, so first thing I've done was I've hit menu on the bottom of the camera. And first thing to know is that I can press up on ISO or down on white balance, right on autofocus and that sort of thing. I've got set in the middle, similar to, say, the Sony, if you've used a Sony yet. I can use my index finger. There's one wheel on the camera, and I can scroll left and right and jump from tab to tab. So let's start with the first tab. Here we have, all of it is about images and photo, right? So I can go image quality, and I can shoot high quality JPEG. I can come down here and shoot RAW plus high quality JPEG. So I'm shooting both RAW and JPEG, or I'm shooting just RAW. And there's a bunch of like medium and small size, different sizes for my images. Jump back out to menu. Beep is disabled. So this is like your audio signals. I've disabled it. They just call it beep. Simple. I've disabled it. You don't want that to be going on in the middle of an event. So if I'm recording or taking photos of a concert or a speaker in the PAC, I don't want to be having that beep go off every 10 seconds when I'm taking photos, or every minute, because that's going to get distracting to the people who are watching the concert or whatever's going on stage. Release shutter without card. I disable that because that means if I don't have a card in here and I have that disabled, it's going to give me an error saying, hey, bonehead, put a card in the camera. Otherwise, if I had that enabled, I could be taking photos for an entire day and then get home and go to unload, and I'm like, wait, I forgot to put a card in the camera, and I have nothing. So I just keep that. I don't even know why you would even have that, but yeah. All right, so now I'm going to arrow right, or I could just use my index finger and go right. And on menu 2, this is all about metering mode, more photo stuff here. Let's go to 3, more photo stuff. By switching the camera from photo to video, now I've got all of my video settings. So unlike the other cameras, this one is specific to, like, it hides all of the other menus, which is kind of nice. You know, so here I'm working with my exposures and things like that. If I arrow to the right, there's my video recording size, 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames. That's the max I can go. Sound recording, auto, keep that on. There's your grids for like rule of thirds, things like that. Exposure compensation, custom white balance, picture styles. You've got neutral, faithful, like these are all just kind of like presets, really. You can adjust them. There's user defined as well. All right. And then we get into beep is disabled, so it doesn't beep when you hit record. And then image quality for photos and all of that. So you've got a few photo options there in case you're taking video and you just want to take a quick picture. Oh, done, got my picture. Okay, go back to hit record on video. Let's jump over to, the play menus. These are just obviously just play. Look at the histogram if you want to look at some information there. Erase images, things like that. First wrench, important. Format card, right? So if you're shooting video on this, you want to make sure it's in video mode. Come over to the first wrench, come down to format card, format your card right away. Okay, unless otherwise instructed, format the SD card before you do any event. It just makes sure that the card is running smoothly, that you've got enough space, and that it's stable. LCD brightness, things like that. This we're not really gonna touch unless you feel like it's really bright outside and you want to increase the brightness, or it's too bright. We can always bring it down. And then the last one is all Wi-Fi functionality to pair with your phone if you want to like send a photo to your phone, but we can just do that in the class. So that's the video. Let's just jump back over. Let's jump back over to photo for a moment. All right, so we're back in photo mode, and let's see here. So we've got ISO settings, playbacks, all of that, just like in video mode. And there we go, first wrench, format card. So that's the same whether you're in photo or video. That's how you format the card. Just make sure you do that. LCD brightness, all that stuff is the same there. And really that's it, you know. Then this green button is for like user presets, like if you want to like quickly access some things, like turn the grids on and off or quickly format the card, just come on over to this star. It's kind of like your favorites, right? So these are your favorites or your quick actions. So you could just quickly scroll over to the green, come down, turn those on and off, change your image quality, format your card, whatever you want to do, and then go.